Let us learn more about if. So let's say we say where I is equal to 1, and let's say we define a for loop for I is equal to 1, I less than 10, I plus plus, and we just say console.log I. So when we do this and when we run the code, what do we get? If we go to the console, we get all the numbers from 1 to 9. Suppose we want to print on the console only numbers which are not divisible by 3. So we can say where rem3 remainder when we divide by 3 is say I percentage 3. And now we can say if rem3 is greater than 0, then only print it on the console. So what are we saying here? We calculated the remainder when I was divided by 3, I percentage 3. And if we are saying if the remainder, if rem3 is greater than 0, if it is 0 means it is a multiple of 3, then only print it on the console. So now when we run it, what do we get? We get 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. So 3, 6 and 9 have not been printed on the console because we used if here and we avoided it. And we can also say else. We can say console.log, and let's say for multiples of 3 we just want to print on the screen multiples of 3. So multiple of, I've spelled it wrong, so multiple of 3. So now what it will do? It will print all the numbers if they are not multiples of 3, and if it's a multiple of 3, it will just print multiple of 3. Let's run it and check it. So what do we get? 1, 2, multiple of 3, 4, 5, multiple of 3, 7, 8, multiple of 3, and so on. So this is one way we have used if within a for loop. Let's look at another example. So we had earlier created this table. So let me just put it here. So we had created this table, and let me just save it and run it so that we remember it. We had created this table where we had printed the number and its square. Suppose we want to give it alternate shading. So each, let's say row, we want to give it alternate shading like you have seen in a lot of tables. So let's say we want that if the row is, if I is 1, it is say, let's make the color say different shade. So let me say give it a gray shade. So if I want to give it a gray shade, let me say make it DD. This will be light grayish. Let's run it. So this is a light grayish color, and suppose if the next row we just want it to be slightly darker gray. So let me say we give it the color say BB. Now this will be a slightly darker color of gray. Let's run it. So we can see these two colors. Now we want to alternate these colors between the rows. So let me create my row even and my row odd. So let me create two classes here and give them the color. So the first row is say odd, so it has say this darker color, and has this lighter color. These are the two colors we want. Now how will we do it? Here we can say where say rem2 is equal to I percentage 2. Now if rem2 is equal to 0, then what do we want to do? We will say document.write, and the class we want to give is even. So the class is my row even, that's the class we had defined. And else, let us say what will be the class we want. Let's just copy this code. Else we want my row odd. This is what we want in the code. So if it is even, we want the class or the style to be my row even, and if it is odd, we want it to be my row odd. Let's go ahead and run it and let's see what do we get. And we have gotten it to be a nice striped, so alternately striped kind of a color schema. So what we have used is if here, and based on if we have changed we have used different styles, and what they create here is this kind of an output. So what we have seen are uses of